Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today in this particular video, I'm excited to share a unique problem asked for HR analytics position in LinkedIn. So make sure you watch the video till end to learn something new. And please subscribe to my channel if not already done yet, as I will be coming up with a lot more useful content. So yeah, guys, without wasting any time, let's get started. So let me just quickly explain you the problem statement and the data which had been given to us. And then quickly we will be able to see like what will be the approach to like solve this particular problem, right? So basically over here, like we had been given the data of like LinkedIn users, right? And along with that, like we are having a employer information as well of those users. So as we can see, we are having a user ID, we are having employer of those users, we are having position, we are having a start date and end date, right? Now, what had been asked as part of this particular problem, we have to basically check like that particular user had worked on Microsoft as a first time, right? And then, like right after that, we have to basically check like that particular user should work at Google, right? So over here, as we can see, like we have to check or we have to basically calculate how many users are there who had worked at Google right after Microsoft, right? And there should be no other employer in between their job journey or like tenure, right? So yeah, this was a problem statement. Now, like what should be the approach to solve this particular problem? That will be the very important thing, right? Because as soon as we are getting a problem statement and we are getting the data, most of the candidates got stuck in between. Like now, what should they do? Or like what they do in order to solve that particular problem, right? So now over here, can I say this thing? The information of employer for a specific user ID is available in a single table, right? Which means what we have to do, we have to first of all implement a self join on this particular table in order to get the details of both the employers, right? So over here, let me just copy this and what I'm going to do over here is I will basically take this as a like Microsoft table. I will keep this as alias as Microsoft, right? I will implement a join on the same table itself. So I'm joining it on same table and we'll give this as alias SGL, right? On ms dot user ID, right? Is equal to gl dot user ID, right? So, and let me just quickly take it over here, ms dot star and gl dot stuff, right? So now let me just quickly run this and we'll show you what will be our output. So this is our output basically, right? We are basically doing a self join over here, right? Now, what we are interested in order to solve this particular problem, we need only those users whose employer was Microsoft and Google, right? So I will implement that as a where clause. So basically I'm selecting only those cases where like employer of Microsoft table. So let's take employer, right? So basically ms.employer should be Microsoft, right? Similarly, and gl.employer should be Google, right? So these are the two cases or like two conditions which we have to implement, right? So let me just quickly run this once again. So right now we are getting 23 records. Let me just run this and we'll show you how many records we are getting. Uh, why is it so? Microsoft. Why is it so? Let me just run this once again. Okay. So over here we are saying LinkedIn users gl.employer. Let me just comment it out once. Okay, wait. And let's run this once again. Okay. So we are saying like gl ms dot user ID is equal to gl dot user ID. Then ms dot employer is equal to, oh my bad. Over here it should be, there's a typo. So we have to say Microsoft. Okay, cool. So now let me just run this once again. Yeah, so as we can see, like these are the three cases, which three user IDs, whose employer was Google and Microsoft, right? Now, After that, what we have to do, basically, as I have mentioned, like if a particular user worked for Microsoft, right after that, like that particular user should work for Google as well, right? So I will basically give this as a condition over here. So I'm taking ms dot and date. So basically what we are saying is that particular users Microsoft and date should be equal to Google's start date, right? So we are saying like GL dot start date, right? Basically ms dot end date is equal to GS dot start date, right? Now, basically this will take care of our one part of problem, right? So over here, what we are saying is like the employer of that particular user should be Microsoft and Google, and like the end date of that particular end date of user worked in Microsoft should be equal to start date of that user in Google, right? So these are the two cases which we have to basically take care of, right? Now, apart from that, like basically in the problem statement, it had been mentioned like no employers in between, right? So basically, we have to like implement another check over here. So there should not be any other employer in between of their job journey, right? So for that, I will basically implement a correlated subquery over here, right? So what I will do, I will basically take select uh, uh, from, let's take this table only, right? And I will basically give this as other, right? So basically I'm taking all those like corner cases over here, or all those cases over here where like employer will be other for that particular user, right? So employer is other, and then we are saying where the dot user ID. So basically I'm joining it on the basis of user ID. So where other dot user ID is equal to ms dot user ID, right? And what we have to do basically, we have to implement another check over here, right? So please pay attention on this. So basically what I'm saying is other dot start date is greater than ms dot start date. No, it should be end date. Okay. So ms dot end date, and what I'm saying, other dot start date, right? Should be less than GL dot start date, right? So yeah. So now let me just quickly explain you this particular thing. So what we are saying over here is this will act as my correlated subquery, and over here we are saying that like basically you we are implementing a join on top of user ID, right? So basically this particular query will get like linked with this particular piece of code, right? Now over here, what we are saying is other dot start date, right? So basically let's say the other employer's start date should be greater than ms dot end date, right? So basically what we are saying is the user had worked in other company after Microsoft, right? With respect to this particular piece of code, right? Now, with respect to this line, what we are saying is before joining Google, right? So basically before joining Google, that particular user had worked in any other employer, right? So basically we are saying over here is in between Microsoft and Google, the employer of that particular user was something else, right? With respect to these two lines of code, right? Now, basically, we have to get rid of these kind of users, right? So what we say over here is, so let me just quickly tell you one interesting thing over here. So over here, like what we have to display if that particular condition holds true, right? So I will display one over here, right? We can do this in SQL, right? So basically, like let's say if this particular condition holds true, so I will display one over here, right? And in order to basically disregard the this particular info, or like this particular records, what I will basically take, I will take and not exists in this particular piece of code, right? So what I'm saying is, so those users, I don't want those users which exist in this scenario, right? That's why I'm using not exist over here, right? And this particular piece of code will give me all those users who worked for like any other employer in between Microsoft and Google, right? So basically this will take care my like third condition which we have to basically take like deal with, right? Now over here, like what we have to take, we have to just take user ID. So I'm taking it from ms dot user ID, right? This is the only one which we have to take, right? Let's take it as count distinct, because we have to basically count the number of user IDs, right? So I'm using distinct over here, and this I can give it as user count, right? Now, let me just quickly run this and we'll show you how our output will look like. Yeah. So as we can see, basically we are having just a one user, right? Who is qualifying this particular criteria. Let me just quickly show you. So over here, as we can see, user ID 1, the employer was Microsoft and date is like 111, right? Start date in Google was like 111. So basically this particular record is qualifying our like use case, right? Similarly, for user ID 2, as we can see, the first employer was Google, right? But as part of this particular problem, the first employer should be Microsoft, right? So this will not qualify our like query or like the use case. Similarly, for user ID 3, the first employer was Microsoft, but the second employer is Amazon, right? So like the correlated subquery which we are using over here, this is basically taking care of these kind of like corner cases, right? Similarly, user ID 4 worked in Google alone, user ID 5 worked only in Microsoft, and user ID 6 worked only in Google, right? So which means like as part of this, basically user ID 1 is only qualifying the like problem statement or or the use case over here, and that's why we are getting a like just a one or like the single user count over here, right? So yeah, guys, that's what the solution of this particular problem. I hope you got to learn something new from this. Let me know in the comment section what will be your approach to solve this particular problem. Thank you and all. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.